Good evening. My name is Kadaria Ahmed, and this is Straight Talk. My guest today has been a member of Nigeria's House of Representatives for 12 years. He has sponsored more bills, 29 to be precise, than any other legislator in the country, and is the first and only lawmaker to reject a national honor on principle. A lawyer by profession, he practiced in the United States but was suspended on charges of misconduct. He has always insisted that while he took the fall, the offense was committed by a paralegal in his firm. More recently, my guest contested and lost the speakership of Nigeria's House of Representatives. A subsequent deal saw him emerge as House Majority Leader. On Straight Talk today, I'm very pleased to have with me Honourable Femi Gbajabiamila. Sir, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You contested for the speakership of the House of Representatives. You lost. A subsequent deal has seen you emerge as the House Majority Leader. Are you satisfied overall with this outcome?
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm where I'm supposed to be. I mean, they say man proposes, God disposes. Yes, I did contest for the speakership because I felt, and my party felt, and my members of the party felt that perhaps being the oldest APC member in the House and probably the most experienced at that point in time. But all in all, all's well that ends well. That's done and dusted. I have since moved on. I have assumed the leadership of the House as the House leader.
Why do you think you lost?
I think politics came to play.
You know, when politicians say politics came into play, for people who are not politicians, explain what that actually means.
It's a very nebulous word in this context. Politics in this context can mean interests, the desire to outwit one person or the other for different reasons. In this context, again, the fact that PDP was was a factor. If you had followed my legislative history, I played the role of opposition leader like it should be played, but people on the side of the PDP thought I was a little bit unfair to them. And again, like I said, that was
I think
part
they
of the
personalized the whole thing and saw it as a chance to, get their pound of flesh from Honourable Gbajabiamila.
And many other factors. That's a contributing factor, one of the contributing factors. And a lot of people were actually surprised that with the block votes of the PDP, we still lost just by 8 votes, and with a lot of things that came to play. But again, it was, to me, it was a fair contest, whether it was due to PDP or due to other reasons that have been attributed. It was a fair contest.
Was it due to a backlash against Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu because you are closely associated with him, and there was talk at the time that people felt he was trying to impose candidates on, the national party?
Well, I mean, we've heard this, and we've always had talk about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it's such a crying shame that in this country, that is what you have to say about somebody who, like it or leave it. Without Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we wouldn't have an APC today. He's not God, but he's a vessel that God has used, as far as I'm concerned, to put that party together. He has put in his sweat, he's put in his money, he's put in his intellect, he's put in his energy, and for those of us who know, he really was the bedrock and the backbone of the party. And to now turn around and say, because he's close, he has an associate, the question you need to ask then is that associate Does he have the capacity? Is he capable? Has he produced an associate in the past that did not do well for the country?
But people don't necessarily look at you as an associate. They look at the relationship between you and him as that of a godfather and his son. And, you know, given the sort of underlying negativity that the politics of godfatherism has in this country, they've sort of turned around to say they reject that. At least that's what I've heard when I've spoken to people.
Well, it's only in Nigeria that, you know, the godfatherism, as you put it, has some kind of negativism. That's something that's found world over in politics. Godfather simply means somebody who has mentored you. That's all it means. And there's nothing wrong with it. I have a lot of people that I mentor. If somebody is deserving today who came under my tutelage, I would be hard pressed, or it would be wrong for people to say, oh, because he came under Femi Gbajabiamila's tutelage, we're not going to.
So are you saying you're very proud of the association with Asiwaju?
Absolutely.
And the role he's played in your career?
And in many other people's careers, not just mine. Absolutely proud. And let me just say this, my candidacy, or my candidate, Joe, was actually not even mooted by Asiwaju. It came from a lot of people within the party, particularly from the north. And it was after they approached him that he said, okay, hey, why not? Fair enough. So to now pin that or zero it down to one man is to say almost
But it is true, isn't it, that at the peak of that fight, the news that was out there was that this was essentially a fight to save the soul of the APC from the dominance of one man.
And as that soul of APC, as you put it, is saved from the dominance of one man or one other, or transferred to another man, or these are things that you hear. These are buzzwords trying to save the soul of APC. Where is the soul of APC? Is the soul of APC lost? APC belongs to Nigerians. It doesn't belong to one man. But without Nigerians, there will be no APC. So nobody can own the soul of APC.
Are you concerned that these fractures that sort of appeared and manifested mostly around the time that the contest for the speakership as well as the Senate presidency were on, don't appear to be healing very quickly?
There were very deep-rooted fundamental issues on the issue of struggle for power, and there will always be struggle for power, whatever part of the world you're in. I mean, that's again, when I say politics, that's all politics is about, is struggle for power. But I believe APC will come out of it, is coming out of it, is going to be the better for it. For the doomsday of sayers that we're not going to come out of it. I mean, they got another thing coming. I mean, we have so much going on in the party. There's so much expectation from Nigerians. And I believe, you know, after this shaky start, we're at a point where we're now at a cruising level. And I think it's too early to judge. Give it a year, and then we can begin to determine whether we have come out of it or not. I think we will, though.
Now, do you think that perhaps you personally have lost face because you contested for a higher post, that of speakership, but then you ended up, you know, accepting a lesser post, which is that of House Majority Leader?
The speaker is the number one in terms of hierarchy. But in any democracy, particularly in our democracies such as this, if you look at the American and all other democracies that are fashioned, you know, along these lines, the leader of the House, if he knows what he's doing, sometimes is the most powerful person in the House. And I'm not talking about me now, I'm just talking about the office.
Don't you feel like there's a certain loss of face because of what has happened?
Absolutely not at all. It's for me, maybe I think differently in a lot of areas. For me, it's not about hierarchy. It's about what you can contribute and wherever you can find yourself useful. If this is where I've been placed, look, there was a time I could even have gone to the floor of the House and sat as a legislator, because I don't believe it's not the office that makes the legislator, it's the legislator that makes the office.
If that is the case, why did you then subsequently continue a dogged fight to actually become the majority House leader?
It was not my fight. It was a principled fight. It was a fight by the party. It was a fight by my members of the House of Representatives, 80% of APC members. Now, let's get this straight. Now, the office of the House leader, of the majority leader, is an office that is determined either by the party leadership or by the party members in the House. only those two, one of those two or both. It's not determined by anybody. And the party, from the topmost level of the party all the way down, were behind me. That's what they wanted. My members were behind me, 80% of my members. And at a point, it became out of my hands. At a point, I actually met with the president, wrote to the president, wrote to the party, went to my members, and I said, look, listen, this country is bigger than any one person, okay? I don't want this narrative to be about me. Let me pull myself out of this so that there's no misunderstanding, so that the party can move forward, so that the House can move forward, and so that the country can move forward, and so the president can also get his job done. But lo and behold, from top to bottom, they refused.
All said no.
They all said no. For them, they felt I was best positioned to play the role of the House leader. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what happened.
What is your relationship like now with the Honourable Speaker of the House of Reps, Honourable Yakubu Dogara?
The Speaker of the House of Representatives and I have always had a good, cordial relationship prior to now, and we still do. He's a good person. I have no issues with him, and I certainly hope he doesn't have any issues with me.
Is there any part of you that is a little bit miffed, if not completely angry, at the fact that essentially presiding over Nigeria's House of Representatives is a man who defected from the PDP, came to the APC after someone like you has spent many, many years in opposition, and many would say, you know, doing the majority of the work that has now put the APC in government?
You sincerely and honestly want me to answer that question?
Yes, I do.
Well, taking Dogara or the Speaker as a person out of it, yeah, I think I'm not miffed, but I think there's something to what you said. You don't put in all the work, get your party to where you are, and at the end of the day, somebody crosses over perhaps a few months to the elections, and plucks the biggest prize. But that's nothing to do with him as a person. I'm not talking about him. I'm just talking about general principle. Things shouldn't be done that way.
Same situation in the Senate. So presumably you feel the same way about the fact that we now have the former governor of Kwara State, distinguished Senator Bukola Saraki, as Senate President, a man who also was a defector from the PDP.
Well, I mean, you cannot separate one from the other. So on that, yes, I'll say, the principle for me is the same. And that is, again, not talking about the persons involved here. I'm just talking about the general principle. I think we need to begin to put things in proper perspective in this country. Now, if the old guard did not have competent hands, that's a different thing.
And when you talk about the old guard here, you're talking about people that were sort of, if you like, founding members of the opposition who worked to put it together, yes, presumably.
Yes, presumably. But again, let me very quickly say this. You can be a founding member. You could have been there from inception. And somebody can cross over and put in a lot more work and do a lot more than you, a sitting member. So it's you can look at it in different ways, but has that happened here is the question. That's for people to determine.
How does the APC move forward from this?
Well, I don't think you can move forward without looking back and trying to deal with what has happened.
And yet, just a few minutes ago, you were talking to me confidently about APC maybe having a bumpy start,
yeah,
but that we should give you a year because you think the party has become stronger, yeah, for what has happened. I'm hearing a bit of contradiction in the two things.
Not at all. There's no contradiction. We are going to move forward. We are moving forward. But I'm saying is that you cannot get to where you want. You cannot really move forward without sitting down and looking at what has happened. And that's not to say we haven't done that or that we're not going to do that. So there's no contradiction there. We are going to do that. For us to get to where we need to get, for us to move forward, we must definitely confront truth. Because if you just sweep things under the carpet, and if you send the wrong signal and wrong message to other party members that, hey, anything goes, you can do whatever you want to do and get away with it, then we're going to have a problem. So we need to figure out what happened and then how to move forward thereafter.
It's time for a break. Stay with us.